So, as it's a Friday, we thought we'd invite another London-based band into the studio to entertain you. As I said, Capri heard them tuning up and she just went, I am so excited. They are called To Kill a King, and they've just spent 2 years in a room with a single window and a bare light bulb making their new album. They're all here. They are frontman Ralph Pellimonter, James Ball, Josh Taffel, Grant McNeil and Ben. We haven't got Ben's surname.
Oh, it's Jackson.
Thank you, Ben Jackson. Sorry about that. Am I pronouncing everyone's name? Pellimonter?
Pellimonter, exactly right.
What a great name.
Thank you very much.
I've never heard of a Pellimonter.
It's getting better reviews than any of our music, to be perfectly honest. It's quite amazing.
You pronounced Ball correctly as well.
Oh, good. Well, I'm proud of myself for that. Now, who started the band? Was it you, Ralph?
Yeah, I suppose I'm sort of the principal songwriter, and then me and Ben met up together, and he does a lot of amazing sort of production work, and then later down the line we met these lot. In fact, Grant, we kind of stole from another band.
Oh, did you? Perhaps don't mention the other band, because there might be emails. You never know. But is it true that you grew up, Ralph, in quite a folky family?
Yeah, all the way through my life, we've had these sort of things. We call them sort of folk nights, but they're kind of like sort of, I guess, sing-alongs. So instead of like dinner parties, my parents would just invite all their friends over, and everyone would get involved. So you'd have everyone would bring a few tinnies and some wine, but it would vary from like two old ladies doing some folk music on penny whistles to like some young lad who just learnt Smells Like Teen Spirit. In fact, that might have been me at one point. But it's interesting now going back and seeing another young lad who's just learnt Smells Like Teen Spirit doing it. Yeah,
so what goes around comes around. So it was inevitable then you were going to start a band.
Oh, I think my parents weren't too pleased, but they led me along the wrong path, didn't they?
Did they see you perform? Did they come to the gigs?
Yeah, so they're coming tomorrow. They're going to come and see us in London. They went to see us in Leeds. That was the sort of closest gig.
Where were you playing in Leeds?
The Brunel Social.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of my favourites.
Yeah, I love Leeds.
Yeah, it's great.
And so where are you playing tomorrow night?
Islington Assembly Hall.
Islington Assembly. I must give the details out, actually. It's tomorrow night, and there's tickets still available. And it's best if you go to the guy's website, which is tokillaking.co.uk. You can download tickets from there, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And we've got two amazing supports. So they're both pals of ours, Fours, who are this like amazing band, lovely, great, powerful lead female vocalist, and then Childcare, who are just great sort of indie rock poppers. So.
I love the name as well.
Childcare.
Yeah. Right, now, you're going to sing 2 tracks from your album, Spiritual Dark Age. Is that right? Right.
That's right.
I can't wait to hear you. What's the first track and who wrote it?
So I wrote it, and it's called The Spiritual Dark Age.
Thank you. And I thank you guys for not making a fuss, because we've done no sound check, and you're just trusting that I've actually got a mic on all of you, which I have, so don't worry. Right, over to you then. This is To Kill a King.
So the good man said, turns out God is dead. They're worshipping science instead, faith in books they haven't read. They're angry all the time, angry at some hole inside. Welcome to the spiritual dark age. Oh, don't lose your grip, don't get contemplative about the space we live between first breath and then the grave. No need to be saved, just some rules on how to behave. Welcome to the spiritual dark age. Oh, forget about love, it's not a hand from above. It's not some dream and there's the rub, just chemicals that flood your brain. They're writing poetry about serotonin and dopamine. Welcome to the spiritual dark age. Not alone in you, not alone in this. There's no map and we're all just set adrift. Just children making pictures in the sky, arguing about who's wrong and who's right. So the gold man said, turns out God is dead. We're on our own, it's time to work out what is yours and mine. No reward to being kind, no quick fix for the fear you'll find. Oh, welcome to the spiritual dark age. Pass me those sedatives, pass on being sentimental, empathy and talking gentle, blinkers on and take the medal. Day the TV died, only tied, keeping the family alive. Oh, welcome to the spiritual dark age. I'm not alone and you're not alone in this. There's no map and we're all just set adrift. There's children making pictures in the sky, arguing about who's wrong and who's right.
I never wanted that to stop. That was the title track from the album.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. The album is called The Spiritual Dark Age, and as I say, that's the title track, and we're listening to Killer King. It was just beautiful, and I was just, as I was listening, I was reading the notes about this, because you say the album is the last 3 years of your life that's been painstakingly distilled into 40 minutes of music.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it has ballads for my single friends watching everyone else gradually pair off, and deities and fables getting drunk in bars. It has moments of anger and disgust at the parasitic feeding of the most vulnerable people, and it has folk songs about two gods who would rather burn down the world than admit that they still love each other. But hopefully, in amongst that chaos and darker tales, it has an underlying message that compassion, being such a beautiful and complex thing, may save the day. What a message.
I've got to be honest, I spent about 4 months on the album and then the rest of the 2.5 years on that little paragraph.
It's beautifully constructed. It's wonderful. Is that on the cover?
No,
it's
not.
But when I said at the beginning that you've just spent a long time sitting in a room with just a single window and bare light bulbs, did it take 2 years to get the album together?
Yeah, although it's not just the 12 songs that are on there, there's probably about 30 songs or so that we've sort of written and arranged together, but those are the sort of best ones. I think because this is our third album, and I think the first one you kind of have almost, I don't know, as long as until someone picks you up and says we'll give you some money to make a record. So for my case that was around about, I don't know, 24 years or something like that, and you have all that time to write that body of work. And then your second album, you're kind of touring and you're on the road, and we did it all like that, kind of doing demos in the backs of vans and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm sure it works for a lot of bands, but I think we really wanted to take our time with this and make sure we get it right, because it's quite a luxury to be able to record and put out your own music there, and we just wanted to make sure.
So is it your own label? You're not.
So we've actually done this through a thing called Patreon, where it is our own label, but basically fans have been subscribing to us, so we give them 4 bits of content each month. If anyone wants to do this, you can.
Yeah,
do
go
this,
on, tell us about it. I don't know how this
just
works.
for about a bit like you would for like Netflix. So you pay us $3 or $5 because it's an American thing, and then we'll give you either 1 or 4 bits of content. So like acoustic tracks, like you've just heard. Or right now it's getting to quite a fun bit. Well, we think it's fun anyway, because people get to see all the demos. So like that song
In the back
you'll
of
get,
trucks.
Yeah, well you'll get like just me and the guitar, and then you'll get the first demo with the band, and then sometimes we try things in different styles and stuff, and different verses. So you get all that extra content. But I don't know. It could be the way forward for things.
Do you know? Isn't it interesting that you've therefore got control of your own product without anyone else? You know, without
nice.
Because I've interviewed quite a lot of musicians, and it always seemed to be that's when the trouble kicked in, when you no longer had control of what you were actually producing.
Well, we've kind of gone sort of a full journey. So we originally signed with Virgin, and then we were dropped from Virgin, and then so we experienced some of those problems you might be talking about. And then we were with Extra Mile, which are a wonderful label, but they're sort of independent labels, so big ties with like Frank Turner and people like that. And now with the third album, we're going it our own.
Because do you know what I think? In a way, all this label signing and everything is ego, isn't it? It's like a pat on the back going, oh, this place, this big company wants us. But, you, David and Goliath, you can do it on your own, to be quite honest, and make the decisions you want to make, which is healthier, isn't it? But do you not think often you sign to labels because you just think, oh, I'm really grateful?
Yeah, well,
and shouldn't have to be.
I mean, yeah, I think it is that thing of just feeling so privileged that someone has taken an interest in you. But then also I have seen with some of the major ones where artists just get stuck because they get signed, and maybe it was politics why they got signed in the first place, and then the person who was really involved with them leaves, and they're stuck there with no one wanting to back them, and really talented people going by the wayside, which is very sad.
It's so weird you're on today, because almost the first hour of the show was based around Girl from the North Country, because we're all massive fans, and obviously Dylan, my generation, but so's this generation, your generation. And we had the cast in, and the fact that Dylan really wanted that musical to come, he wanted it to start in London, and all his backlog of tracks and things that lots of us had never heard, or you're hearing for the first time sung differently. When you read that paragraph that you wrote, part of you thinks, gosh, it would lend itself so well to a whole story. Is that part of what... I'm not saying, go and put it on at the Old Vic, but there is a thread.
No.
But if anyone's listening... But do you know what I mean? When you have a thread that runs through an album, it's really interesting, isn't it? Like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it can be done well, and it can be done sort of badly. But I think people are... I mean, maybe it's helping people engage with albums more if there is a thread running through, because we are living in a bit of a time of sort of Spotify where it's one track and it's playlists rather than albums.
Yes.
And so if you can do that with the sort of storytelling, then I think it's only going to help.
And do you, when you played the title track there, when you're making an album, I'm always intrigued. Do you... like that when they say if you're making a YouTube film, put your best 3 minutes at the top because the people just don't watch the rest. Do you put your best tracks?
I think we always focus on it as more like a body of work because we're a bit old-fashioned probably. But we're hoping that
listen to it in its entirety.
But it kind of goes. It has ups and downs and things. And also, as we were sort of chatting about that sort of long-winded sentence there about it all, like, because it does explore some of the darker things, but then if you wait around, it will give you a little bit of hope. So it'll be a bit of a shame. The first two tracks are a bit dark and maybe focus on some of the darker things that humans are doing to each other, but it would be sad if they switched off after that. You know what I mean? It would be like It's a Wonderful Life, but then you don't see the end bit. You know what I mean?
Don't say that. Are you all from Leeds?
Just me.
Oh, right. Do you know Roundhay?
Yes.
Oh, that's where when I was an actress, I used to stay in digs at Roundhay.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I love all those big red brick municipal indoor markets and everything in Leeds.
I think it's maybe still one of the biggest ones in the UK.
It's a fantastic city. Yeah. Right, I'm being told to move on.
No worries.
This is from Paul. Joe, I can be very critical and fussy when it comes to music, but your live band are absolutely fantastic. He can be, actually, this listener. He can be incredibly fussy.
Nice,
so that's as good as a signing on a label, to be honest. Right, what track are you going to play now?
So this is called The Good Old Days.
Lovely. Thank you to Killer King.
The good old days. You find your feet, but you're acting strange. You're cynical, but you're bound to change some day. There's time to waste. There's a golden beam lights up their face, but you never stop to appreciate it. So tell me now how it's possible that a single day seems so beautiful. You never know them till they're gone. Ooh, the good old days. It's the good old days. The good old days. You forget the jokes, but the laughs remain. You never slept, but you dreamt your life away. I said your name just to feel it on my lips again, to see if it still felt the same. So tell me now how it's possible that a single day seems so beautiful. You never know them till they're gone. Ooh, the good old days. It's the good old days. It's the good old days. It's the good old days. Times that we fought, or how you tore my world apart. It's the good old days. 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 It's the good old.
Beautiful. To Kill a King, and that's from their album The Spiritual Dark Age. If you want to see these guys, then they're on at the Islington Assembly tomorrow night. And I've forgotten who's supporting you.
So we got Childcare and also Fours, both brilliant bands.
And what time will you be on?
Oh, questions.
Just get there, basically.
9:30, yeah, get there early, though.
Yeah, get there early. And you can book online, actually, at Islington Assembly, or can book online at the Guy's website, which is To Kill a King. And I guess that's where you can download the album, because it's out now, isn't it?
It's out now, yeah.
Which is The Spiritual Dark Age. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
All of you for coming in. Is it Ben James? Did we say
Jackson.
Jackson. Ben Jackson, Grant McNeil, Josh Taffel, James Ball, and Ralph Pellymounter. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.